Hey everyone, John here from TestPrepInsight.com, and today I'm going to be comparing the Spanish apps from Duolingo and Babbel, maybe the two most popular language learning programs on earth and two courses that we've used pretty extensively. And just as a quick note, since this is just a video and I'll just be covering the major highlights, if you need some more information about these two language apps at any point, we have tons of helpful reviews and comparisons over on our website. An easy way to get there is just to Google TestPrepInsight, Babbel versus Duolingo. That's a quick way to get more info. Okay, so to keep this video narrowly focused about how these two apps directly compare, rather than providing a general overview of each Spanish program, I'm instead going to run down the key areas where I see each company being better than the other. So with that in mind, let's start with Babbel, and I have them winning in 5 key areas. The first is conversational practice. In my opinion, Babbel offers much more comprehensive and useful verbal practice exercises than Duo. With Duolingo, you're sort of just asked to repeat words and phrases in a vacuum. There's never any real context. But with Babbel's practice exercises, it's much more contextual and deliberate. For example, Babbel will actually place you in the middle of a conversation, explain the situation and setting to you, and then have you complete the dialogue. And this, I think at the end of the day, is a more effective learning framework than simply repeating words and phrases. Okay, second, it's the same story with listening comprehension. Not only are the Babbel audio exercises more frequent and thorough than Duolingo's, I also like the fact that following each drill or exercise, Babbel actually repeats the phrase or sentence you're drilling on, while Duolingo just makes a little chime sound, shows a little cartoon motion graphic, and then moves on. So as you might imagine, over the course of each lesson, day, and week, Babbel simply exposes your ears to Spanish much more than Duolingo, and really reinforces the new vocabulary that you're learning in an auditory medium. Alright, so win number 3 for Babbel is that they do a better job with natural language usage. Or put another way, Babbel's lessons teach you phrases and sentences that are actually useful. With Duolingo, sometimes it just seems like they throw random words and phrases together. For example, just a couple days ago, I got one that was, "I have many potatoes, but no bedroom." It's just nonsense stuff like that. And yes, I've heard the Duolingo superfans yell at me that this is by design as some sort of learning trick, but I just don't buy it. So much of language is just using recycled language chunks and common phrases, so learning through some bizarre sentence combos just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So really, at the end of the day, I just think the fact that the Babbel lessons utilize logical, everyday phrases and sentences is a good thing. Okay, win number 4, Babbel does a better job with grammar instruction in my opinion. They include grammar building block lessons throughout their coursework that cover important topics such as pronouns, verbs in the past tense, and modals. And just to be clear, these are not long, dense grammar sessions. Rather, they're just short, direct, and very digestible, which I think is extremely important during the early stages of language acquisition. You never want to overload new learners with overly detailed explanations, and Babbel does a really nice job of balancing this. With Duolingo, grammar really isn't much of a priority. They just provide high-level grammar coverage and guidebooks that are more of an afterthought within their coursework. Okay, last up here, win number 5, is that Babbel offers more resources and tools than Duolingo for learning Spanish. You've got games, podcasts, a digital magazine, live lessons, and other fun little extras. For me, when you want to break from the main lesson work but still want to spend a little time learning Spanish, the extras are a great way to stay engaged and learn while still having some fun. This is something that Duo doesn't really offer. Okay, so turning the tables, I have Duolingo beating Babbel Spanish in just 2 categories. And the first is a pretty important one, cost. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with free. The Duolingo Spanish program literally doesn't cost a cent if you use the free version, and it gives most all the benefits of the full program. However, what I'll say here is that the free version did kind of drive me a little crazy, and after using Super Duolingo, it is way better. And I say that because the free version includes annoying ads, it puts caps on your daily mistakes, and even restricts navigability. So I would suggest upgrading to Super if you can afford it, because really the paid plan isn't too bad cost-wise. It costs just $84 per year or $120 per year for the family plan, which breaks down to about $7 to $10 per month. Now in comparison, Babbel is more in the $8 to $15 a month range, so bottom line, if you stick with the free version of Duolingo, then obviously there's a significant cost advantage here. And even if you upgrade to Super Duolingo, they still have a slight pricing edge over Babbel Spanish by a couple bucks per month. But what I would note here is that Babbel seems to be much more aggressive than Duolingo with their sales and special promos, so do make sure to check the description below for coupon codes. I'll drop any current discounts and deals that I can find down there for you. Babbel regularly discounts in the 50% off range if you know where to look, so make sure to check that out before purchasing. Okay, so my one other pro for Duolingo Spanish, and it's another important one, is the fun factor. In my opinion, Duolingo does a better job than Babbel of making the language learning process actually fun. They set up their app to have a game-like feel, and it doesn't even really resemble an educational tool. It's more like a questing game. You earn XP points as you progress through the course, you can team up with other learners, use gems to purchase additional features, and compete in leagues. Not to mention, Duolingo does a really good job of enticing you to keep up your daily streak. Overall, it's just a fun, exciting environment for learning Spanish, and you won't have a problem sticking with it. But that's really how the Spanish programs from both companies compare. Although I like the fact that Duolingo offers a free version and they do a really good job of making the learning process actually fun, at the end of the day, if you're just trying to pick one app to learn Spanish, I don't think it's even close. Babbel just provides the more well-rounded and effective Spanish course from top to bottom. They pretty much beat Duolingo in every category that we grade apps on. Verbal practice exercises, grammar instruction, exposure to audio, you name it. So if you're serious about learning Spanish, I would say Babbel is the way to go. But anyway, like I said, this is just a short video, and if you do want some more information regarding either of these apps, make sure to jump on over to our website. Again, that's testprepinsight.com, or check out our other videos. And before I sign off, I should just mention that since you're learning Spanish, every single month here at Test Prep Insight, we actually give away a free language learning course to one lucky person. Super simple to enter. Everyone out there is eligible. I'll put all the details down below in the description on how to get entered, but just know it takes less than 10 seconds, and hey, you never know, you could win a totally free Spanish course and save yourself some serious cash. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful and you learned a little something. If so, make sure to subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one.